It's Thursday, October 10th, right now on 12 News at 10.
During Arizona's brutal summer, if you get behind on your electricity payment, companies won't turn off your power. But those deadlines are coming up. We'll tell you when tonight.
Temperatures fall below 105 heading into this weekend, but there is even more relief as we get into next week.
I'm Bianca Bono at the Rawhide Event Center. Vice President Kamala Harris making her third stop in Arizona since becoming the nominee. We'll tell you what she said to her supporters.
It is good to be back in Arizona.
And we're hearing from U.S. Customs and Border Protection on the progress that's being made to stop the flow of fentanyl into the U.S.
12 News at 10 with Mark Curtis and Caribe Divine starts now.
Good evening. New tonight, as the valley continues to swelter during this stretch of record heat, local utilities are now getting ready to start disconnecting people's power if they're behind on their payments. Thanks for joining us tonight for 12 News at 10. I'm Mark Curtis.
And I'm Tram Mai. Caribe has the night off. Anyone who lives here knows how pricey electric bills can get with our heat. And some folks who are behind on their bills in Mesa, well, they could soon lose power despite our high temperatures. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live in Mesa after speaking with those who are affected. And Chase, the city apparently is owed a lot of money.
Tram, Mark, that's right. We're talking nearly $4 million in back pay from customers that use Mesa Utilities. Now, the city does offer a grace period where they won't shut off your power if you're behind on those payments, but that deadline just recently ended. More than 1,500 households using Mesa Utilities for power have not paid their bill.
It's kind of hard to keep up with everything.
Joseph Amaro is one of them.
Probably about 3 months now.
He asked us not to show his face, but tells me he's been the sole provider for his family after his wife suffered a stroke.
With her losing her income and everything, and that's just putting more strain on us.
Amaro says he recently received a notice saying if he didn't pay, they would lose power. His electricity bill this summer has been around $500 a month, on top of paying groceries and other bills.
I've been looking for another job, so I can work 2 jobs, just to be able to cover all my expenses.
It's been really tough.
His neighbor, Isaiah Murrieta, almost in the same situation.
We aren't behind on payments, luckily. Definitely a struggle.
In total, Mesa is owed $3.94 million from customers that haven't paid. Amaro says another challenge for him is Mesa doesn't offer a payment plan, meaning he'll have to pay his $1,500 in back pay at one time.
I just think that it's wrong that they don't have no other option.
A spokesperson with Mesa said they do have a grace period during the summer from June 1st to September 30th. Where they won't turn off your power if you're behind. They also say that can be extended if the predicted temperature is above 95 degrees. But with our record-breaking heat stretching well into October, Mesa can't say how much longer that grace period will last. APS and SRP, the 2 largest electricity providers in the state, also have grace periods. For SRP, it's from July to August and extended for when there are excessive heat warnings. For APS, that deadline is approaching. Its grace period is from June to October 15th, which is Tuesday. At this time, APS says 12% of its customers are behind on payments, but it and SRP have payment plans customers can take part in. Now, while Mesa doesn't necessarily have a payment plan, a city spokesperson did tell me they look at everything on a case-by-case basis. So if you are behind on your payments or are struggling to pay that electricity bill, you are encouraged to call them, and they said that they will try to work something out for you. We're live in Mesa tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thank you. Meanwhile, before we talk about our heat with Lindsay, look at this. Gorgeous, right? These are photos of the northern lights, and they're visible from right here in Arizona. Look at how bright those pinks were. They were all posted to our 12 News Weather Watchers Facebook page.
All right, let's check in with meteorologist Lindsay Riley for your weather impact forecast. And Linz, it was a little hard to see all of those colors in the valley because we have a lot of light pollution here, but some parts of the state did see it.
Yes, and I chose a couple more pictures from the valley where you could see the northern lights. I couldn't pick them up on my street. We have street lights, and those were too bright. But This was the look out in Apache Junction. Tamara sharing this, and I love the cactus with the northern lights because it's just two opposites. But we saw beautiful colors across at least parts of the valley today. And this was up in Desert Ridge. Eric sharing this picture, looking a little bit more purple, and of course you have the giant saguaro there. So such a neat sight. It's not very often that this happens. This is called a G4 solar storm, which is the second highest on the scale, and that happened back in May. So we did see some northern lights back in May, but then the time before that was 2005. So this is pretty rare. A pretty nice treat for tonight. Another record out there today, 107. It's the 17th day in a row of records, and we're going to add a few more. Friday through Monday, we can expect record highs. We'll finally break the trend on Tuesday, and that's also when we'll fall back to the double digits. Mark?
Linz, thanks. New at 10, an administrator at a Valley school is in jail tonight, accused of having a relationship with a 16-year-old girl. 44-year-old Christopher Williams was an assistant superintendent at West MEC. Allegedly, he had the girl use an app that would hide their conversations. Peoria police were alerted to the situation by a close friend of the victim. According to court documents, the girl told police that Williams took nude pictures of her and their relationship was becoming more serious. She added that Williams knew she was 16 because he went to her birthday parties. Williams has denied the allegations to police. You can read more details right now on our website, 12news.com. Well, we're just 26 days away from the election, and the road to the White House is once again running right through Arizona. And that's no secret to the candidates who have each campaigned here over the past month.
Tonight, Vice President Kamala Harris made her pitch to voters in the Southeast Valley. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono was at that rally and is reporting from the Gila River Indian community.
Vice President Kamala Harris held her rally here at the Rawhide Event Center the day after early voting began here in Arizona. A push for voters to cast their votes early in a battleground state that will be critical for the candidate. Vice President Kamala Harris rallying a room full of around 7,000 supporters.
We need a president who works for all the American people.
This marking the third time the Democrat candidate for president has visited battleground Arizona since she moved to the top of the ticket.
We are nearing the home stretch, and this will be a very tight race until the very end.
And in order to win that tight race, Harris is trying to appeal to voters like Wanda Steins from Surprise.
I'm a Republican, and I'm here to support Kamala.
A Republican who's only voted for a Democrat once, President Obama.
It's not so much that we agree with her, but we simply cannot deal with a minimum of 4 more years of that lie.
In her half-hour-long address, Harris hammered home her plan to protect women's reproductive rights and encouraged voters to support Arizona's abortion ballot initiative.
We are witnessing a full-on attack on hard-won, hard-fought freedoms and rights.
Harris not devoting time in her speech to the border. On the economy, she said her plan involves $25,000 toward down payments for first-time homebuyers and a $6,000 tax credit to parents of newborns.
We will lower the cost on everything from health care to groceries, taking on, for example, the issue of corporate price gouging. I've done it before, and I'm going to do it again.
Thursday night's rally happening inside the Rawhide Event Center on the Gila River Indian community, a community she also appealed to in her speech.
We must honor tribal sovereignty, embrace our trust and treaty obligations.
With early voting already underway in Arizona, and with polls showing former President Donald Trump with a narrow lead in the Grand Canyon state, Harris is hoping she can follow in her former running mate's footsteps, asking her supporters to vote early.
With your help, in 26 days, we will win.
And Harris's trip to Arizona continues on Friday, where she's expected to meet with 100 or 150 people from the group Arizona Republicans for Harris. We're at the Rawhide Event Center. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Bianca, thanks. The week of campaign visits continues tomorrow with First Lady Dr. Jill Biden set to travel here. We're told that she'll spend Friday campaigning in Yuma and then Saturday in Phoenix. Then on Sunday, she moves on to northern Nevada to campaign for Harris and Walz. Also on Sunday, former President Trump will hold a rally in Prescott Valley. He's expected to deliver remarks at the Findlay Toyota Arena in Prescott Valley Sunday at 2 o'clock. We've put a link so you can get some tickets if you want to on our website, 12news.com.
Meantime, it's the second day of early voting in Arizona, and today Republican Senate candidate Carrie Lake cast her ballot at a Valley voting center. She was in Scottsdale to cast her early ballot in person. Now, Lake has openly criticized early voting in the past, and when we asked her about that this morning, here's what she had to say.
I've changed that because we do have election season. We saw what happened in 22 on Election Day when the machines didn't work. My goodness, there were 4-hour lines. We can't afford for that to happen again. And we all saw what happened in past elections. We don't want to take the risk of having a one day that we show up to vote and things don't work.
Despite voting early today, Lake did say that she would still prefer a single election day rather than what she calls an election month or election season. You can get ready for Election Day by having the 12 Plus app already downloaded on your TV. 12 Plus is where we're going to stream hours of live coverage of all the local and state races, plus the results and the impact that they could have on your community. Just search for the 12 Plus app on your Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku.
Now to the southern border, where we're getting an update on efforts to try to stop the flow of fentanyl coming into the U.S. Today, the acting Customs and Border Protections Commissioner talked about what the agency is doing to try to stop drug smugglers. Troy Miller says Operation Plaza Spike is targeting the gangs and cartels in Mexico, while also focusing on the tools that are used to make the drugs.
In the last 2 fiscal years alone, CBP has seized more than 50,000 pounds of fentanyl. That's enough to produce more than 2 billion lethal doses. Right here in Arizona in August, we conducted the single largest bust of fentanyl in the agency's history, 4 million pills at the port of Lukeville.
The agency has also launched Operation Apollo X with the goal of uncovering supply chains to determine where the fentanyl is coming from and where it's headed.